Imagine sitting across from the woman you've loved for 3 years, holding an engagement ring in your pocket that cost more than her car, only to have her look you dead in the eye and say, "I can't do this anymore, Mike. I need a man with a future, not a man who drives a 2005 Honda and wears shoes from Target." She didn't know that the broken Honda was a choice. She didn't know that the modest apartment we shared was just one of my many properties. And she definitely didn't know that the company she had been desperately trying to get an internship at? Yeah, I'm the CEO. I was testing her. I wanted to see if she loved the man or the money. Well, I got my answer. And today she's walking into my boardroom for her final interview. She thinks she's finally meeting the powerful millionaire who can change her life. She's right about one thing. I am going to change her life, but not the way she thinks. Before we get into the details of this absolute masterpiece of karma, do me a favor. If you love seeing greedy people get exactly what they deserve, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Here at ThreadVerse, we publish various kinds of incredible stories every single day, from revenge sagas to family dramas. You don't want to miss a single one. Now, let's get into the story. My name is Mike. To most people, I'm just a guy who works long hours as an architect at a mid-sized firm. I dress in simple flannels, I bring my own lunch to work, and as my ex-girlfriend Chloe loved to point out, I drive a car that sounds like it's having a panic attack every time I hit 60 miles per hour. But here's the thing about me. I grew up with money. A lot of it. My father was a real estate mogul who taught me 2 things. 1. Never let people know how much you have. 2. Real loyalty is found in the dirt, not in the penthouse. When I met Chloe at a local coffee shop 3 years ago, I decided to live a normal life. I wanted to find a woman who would stick by me when things were tough. I wanted a partner, not a fan. Chloe was beautiful, charismatic, ambitious, or at least, that's what I thought. For the first 2 years, things were great. I treated her to nice dinners occasionally. We took modest vacations, and I supported her while she finished her marketing degree. I was convinced she was the one. But then, graduation happened, and Chloe's ambition started to look a lot like greed. It started small. She began complaining about our apartment. "Mike, the dishwasher is so loud. My friend Brittany just moved into a luxury high-rise. Her kitchen has marble countertops. Why can't we have that? We're saving for a house, Chloe," I'd say calmly. "A few more years of modest living, and we can buy something permanent." She'd huff and roll her eyes. "A few years? I'm 24, Mike. I want to live now. I don't want to wait until I'm middle-aged to enjoy life." Then she started comparing me to the guys she saw on LinkedIn and Instagram. "Look at this guy, Jason. He's an architect too, and he just posted a photo with a brand new Porsche. Why are you still driving that rust bucket? My car gets me from point A to point B." I'd shrug. "I'd rather invest that money into our future." "Our future? You mean our future of being poor?" That hurt. I had millions sitting in a trust fund, and 10 times that in company assets. I could have bought her a fleet of Porsches without blinking. But every time I saw that look of disgust on her face when she looked at my Target shoes, I felt a little part of my love for her die. The breaking point came when Chloe started applying for jobs. She was obsessed with a company called Vanguard Designs. It's the top architectural and marketing firm in the country. High pay, high prestige, and an exclusive vibe. She didn't know that Vanguard Designs was my father's company. She didn't know that since he retired last year, I've been running the entire operation from a private office she's never seen. To her, I was just a low-level architect at a firm she'd never heard of. "If I get this internship at Vanguard," she told me one night, barely looking up from her laptop, "my life is finally going to start. I'll be around people who actually matter. People with, status." "So, I don't matter because I don't have status?" I asked. She sighed, a long, dramatic sound. "You know what I mean, Mike. Don't be so sensitive. I'm just saying, I'm tired of being the girl in the 2005 Honda. I want to be the girl in the executive lounge." I felt the engagement ring in my pocket. I had planned to propose to her that weekend. I was going to take her to a private estate I own, reveal the truth, and tell her that we never had to worry about money again. But after that comment, I decided to wait. I needed one final test. I took her to a nice-ish restaurant for our 3-year anniversary. Not the most expensive place in town. Again, the test, but a solid, romantic spot. I was nervous. Not about proposing, but about what was about to happen. "Chloe," I said, taking her hand across the table, "I have something to tell you. I've been thinking about our future, and I think it's time we..." She pulled her hand away. Her face wasn't soft. It was cold. "Stop, Mike. Just stop. What's wrong?" "I got the email today," she said, her voice trembling with a mix of excitement and something else. "I got the final interview at Vanguard Designs. It's next Monday. They said the CEO himself might be there for the final selection." "That's great, Chloe. I'm proud of you," I said genuinely. "Are you?" she sneered. "Because honestly, Mike, Looking at you right now, in that clearance rack shirt, I realized I don't want you to be there when I make it. I don't want to have to explain to my new colleagues why my boyfriend is a nobody. The room went silent. At least, it did in my head. A nobody? I whispered. Yes, she said, standing up. You're a nice guy, Mike. But you're a safe guy. You're a boring guy. I want a man who matches my ambition. I want a man who knows the difference between a Pinot Noir and a cheap beer. We're over. Don't call me. Don't text me. You can keep the apartment. I'm moving in with Brittany tonight. She walked out. She didn't look back. She didn't see the tears in my eyes, not of sadness, but of pure, crystalline realization. I sat there for 20 minutes. The waiter came by. Is everything okay, sir? I looked at him. I took the engagement ring out of my pocket. It was a 4-carat flawless diamond. The light from the candle hit it, and the entire table sparkled. Yeah, I said, my voice finally steady. Everything is perfect. Can I get the check? And a bottle of your most expensive champagne. I have a lot to celebrate. Monday morning arrived. I didn't take the Honda. I walked into my garage and looked at the row of cars I usually kept under silk covers. A Ferrari, a vintage Porsche, a custom-built SUV. I chose the black Lamborghini Urus. I drove to the Vanguard Designs headquarters. The security guard saluted as I pulled into the CEO-only spot. I walked through the lobby, my tailored Italian suit fitting me like a second skin. Good morning, Mr. Daniels, the receptionist chirped. Morning, Sarah, I said. Is the interview panel ready in the boardroom? Yes, sir. The candidates are waiting in the lounge. I walked past the lounge, and there she was, Chloe. She was wearing a brand new suit, probably bought with the money she was supposed to use for her half of the rent. She was checking her makeup in a small mirror, looking confident, looking hungry. She didn't see me. I walked into the boardroom through the back executive entrance. My 3 top directors were already there. Mike, ready for the final round? One of them asked. Oh, you have no idea, I said, sitting in the high-backed leather chair at the head of the table. I turned the chair around so my back was to the door. Let's bring in the first candidate, a Miss Chloe Jenkins. The door opened. I heard the click-clack of her heels on the hardwood floor. I heard her catch her breath as she saw the scale of the room. Good morning, everyone, Chloe said, her voice full of that practiced, corporate charm. I am so honored to be here. I've admired Vanguard Designs for years, and I'm ready to give my absolute best to this firm. Is that so? I said, still facing the window. I heard her freeze. She recognized the voice, but she couldn't believe it. There was no way. Mr. CEO, she stammered. I slowly rotated the chair. I leaned forward, rested my chin on my intertwined fingers, and smiled. A smile that didn't reach my eyes. Hello, Chloe, I said. I hear you're looking for a man with status. The silence in that room was the most satisfying sound I have ever heard. Chloe is a survivor. I'll give her that. After the initial shock, her marketing brain kicked in. She tried to do what she does best, spin the narrative. She took a shaky breath, smoothed her expensive suit, the one I probably helped pay for, and forced a smile. A smile that looked more like a grimace. Mike, oh my God, Mike. This is amazing. She actually tried to walk toward me. I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me? Was this some kind of romantic test? Like a movie? I didn't move. I didn't smile back. A test? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Is that what you call it when you tell the man you supposedly love that he's a nobody and a loser because he doesn't drive a Porsche? Chloe's smile faltered. She looked at the other directors on the panel. They were staring at her with expressions ranging from disgust to pure amusement. They knew exactly who I was, and they were starting to realize exactly who she was. I didn't mean it like that. Chloe stammered, her voice rising an octave. I was stressed. I was worried about our future. I wanted you to be more successful because I knew you had it in you. I was pushing you, Mike. It was tough love. Tough love, I repeated. The words felt like ash in my mouth. Tough love is staying up with your partner when they're working late. Tough love is supporting them when they're building something from nothing. It's not walking out on a 3-year relationship the second you think you found a bigger paycheck. I looked down at her resume. It was impressive on paper. She was smart. She was talented. But she lacked the one thing Vanguard Designs values above all else: integrity. Let's talk about your application, Miss Jenkins, I said, my voice turning cold and professional. You wrote in your cover letter that you are a loyal team player who values long-term growth over short-term gains. I looked up at her. Do you find that statement to be accurate? Given that you dumped your long-term partner for a short-term status upgrade less than a week ago. Chloe's face turned a deep shade of crimson. Mike, please don't do this here. Let's talk in private. We can fix this. I still love you. Love. I laughed. A short, dry sound. Chloe, you don't love people. You love assets. You love logos. You love the idea of who a person is, as long as that person can buy you a marble countertop. I turned to my directors. Gentlemen, does anyone have any further questions for candidate Jenkins? My head of HR, a man named Bill who had known my father for 30 years, spoke up. I have one, Bill said, looking Chloe up and down. Miss Jenkins, if the CEO of this company lost everything tomorrow, if we went bankrupt and Mr. Daniels had to go back to driving that 2005 Honda, would you still want this job? Or would you move on to our competitor? Chloe opened her mouth, then closed it. There was no right answer. If she said yes, she was a liar. If she said no, she was disqualified. That's what I thought, Bill said, marking a big X on her file. But wait, it gets better. Remember the guy she mentioned? Jason? The architect with the Porsche? I had done some digging over the weekend. Because in my world, everyone knows everyone. So, Chloe, I said, leaning forward. How is Jason doing? I hear he just got that brand new Porsche 911. Chloe's eyes widened. How do you know about Jason? Oh, Jason and I go way back, I lied. Actually, I just looked him up on the internal industry database. In fact, I know exactly how he bought that car. He didn't buy it with his salary. He bought it with a loan from Vanguard Financing, a subsidiary of this company. Chloe looked confused. And here's the funny part. I continued, enjoying the look of pure dread on her face. Jason doesn't own his firm. He's a junior associate at a boutique shop that we are currently in the process of acquiring. Which means, in about 48 hours, I'm going to be Jason's boss too. Chloe sank into the chair. She didn't even ask for permission to sit. She just collapsed. He told me he was a partner, she whispered. Well, I shrugged. I guess you aren't the only one who knows how to lie to get what they want. It seems you dumped a real billionaire for a fake millionaire. I'd call that a pretty bad marketing move, wouldn't you? I stood up. The interview was over. Sarah, I called out to the intercom. Can you please escort Miss Jenkins out? And tell security that she is no longer allowed on the premises. Her application for the internship is denied. Chloe stood up, tears finally streaming down her face. Mike, please. You can't do this. I have no money. Brittany is charging me rent, and I spent my last savings on this suit. I thought this was my big break. It was, I said, walking toward the window. It was your big break. But you broke it the second you decided that a car was more important than a person. You wanted status, Chloe. Well, now you have it. You're the girl who dumped the CEO of Vanguard Designs. I'm sure that'll look great on your next resume. As security let her out, I heard her screaming in the hallway. You trapped me. You lied to me too. I didn't turn around. I just looked at the city skyline. The trap wasn't the lie, Chloe. The trap was your own greed. I just opened the door. As security escorted Chloe out of the building, I stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of my office and watched the street below. I saw her stumble out onto the sidewalk, looking around like a lost child. She didn't look like the confident, status-hungry woman who had dumped me a week ago. She looked broken, but I wasn't finished with Jason. See, Jason, the guy with the Porsche, was exactly the kind of person I despised. He was a lifestyle influencer architect. He spent more time on his hair and his Instagram feed than he did on blueprints. He was a junior at a firm called Apex Designs, and as I mentioned, we were in the middle of a hostile takeover of that firm. I picked up the phone and called my acquisition manager, Diane. Diane, tell the board at Apex that we're moving up the merger date. I want the keys by Wednesday, and I want a full performance review of their junior staff. Specifically, a guy named Jason Thorne. You got it, Mike, Diane said. Is there a problem? Just a little spring cleaning, I replied. I knew exactly what that review would show. Jason had been using company funds for client dinners that were actually dates with Chloe. He had been inflating his billable hours to pay for that Porsche lease. He thought he was playing the game. He didn't realize I owned the board. Meanwhile, Chloe was doing exactly what I expected. She went straight to the person she thought was her upgrade. She didn't know I had a tracker on the Honda, which she still hadn't returned, by the way. She drove my old, beat-up car straight to a high-end rooftop bar where Jason was known to hang out. I decided to meet them there, not as the CEO, but as poor Mike. I wanted to see the final act of this comedy in person. I changed out of my Italian suit and put on my old, faded flannel and those Target shoes she hated so much. I grabbed the keys to a beat-up work truck from the company lot and headed over. When I arrived, I saw the 2005 Honda parked crookedly in the valet lot. I walked up to the rooftop. The place was dripping with old money and new vanity. I spotted them in a corner booth. Chloe was crying, holding Jason's hand. Jason looked annoyed. He was checking his watch, a fake Rolex I could spot from 10 feet away. Jason, you have to help me. I heard Chloe sob as I walked closer, staying behind a large potted plant. He's a billionaire. He's the CEO of Vanguard. He humiliated me. He blocked my internship. Jason's face went pale. Wait, the CEO of Vanguard is your ex? The guy you told me was a janitor-level architect. I didn't know. Chloe cried. But it doesn't matter. You're successful too, right? You told me you were becoming a partner. We can still have the life we planned. Jason pulled his hand away. He looked like he wanted to run. Chloe, listen, Jason said, his voice dropping. I might have exaggerated a few things. I'm not exactly on the partner track yet. In fact, my firm is being bought out. Things are a bit tight right now. Tight? Chloe asked, wiping her eyes. What about the Porsche? What about the penthouse? Jason winced. The Porsche is a lease, Chloe, and it's 3 months behind. And the apartment, it's a corporate rental. If the merger goes through, I might not even have a job. I decided that was my cue. I stepped out from behind the plant. Hey guys, I said, leaning against their table. Mind if I join you? Chloe jumped. Mike, what are you doing here in those clothes? Oh, you know me. I shrugged, looking at Jason. I just like the simple life. Jason, good to see you again. I hear we're going to be working together soon. Well, technically, you'll be working for me. Jason stood up, his face turning a strange shade of gray. Mr. Daniels? I didn't recognize you in the flannel. That's the point, Jason, I said, sitting down and taking a sip of the expensive water on their table. See, Chloe here thinks that status is something you wear. But real status? Real power? It's having the ability to end a career with a single phone call. I looked at Chloe. She was staring at Jason, then at me, then back at Jason. The realization was finally hitting her. She had traded a real diamond for a piece of broken glass. Jason, I said, standing up. I've reviewed your files. The expense reports? The fake client meetings? We're not just letting you go after the merger. We're filing for reimbursement. Expect a call from our legal team by Friday. Oh, and the Porsche? The leasing company is already on its way to your office to repossess it. Jason didn't even say a word. He just grabbed his jacket and bolted for the exit, leaving Chloe sitting there with the bill for 2 $25 cocktails. Chloe looked at me, her eyes pleading. Mike, please. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I'll do anything. I'll go back to the old apartment. I'll drive the Honda. Just don't leave me like this. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the 4-carat engagement ring one last time. I let the light hit it. Her eyes widened. She reached for it. I pulled it back. You wanted marble countertops, Chloe, I said, my voice as cold as ice. I hope you find them, but you won't be finding them with me. I signaled the waiter. Excuse me? The lady will be paying for the drinks. And by the way, that Honda and the valet? It's reported stolen. You might want to get out of here before the cops arrive. I walked out. As I headed to the elevator, I heard the sound of police sirens approaching the building. I didn't stay to watch Chloe get detained. I had a dinner reservation at a small, out-of-the-way diner, the kind of place where the waitresses know your name and the coffee is always hot. As I pulled away in my work truck, I saw the reflection of the police lights in my rearview mirror. I had reported the Honda as stolen because, technically, it was. The title was in my name, and Chloe had no legal right to it after I told her to return it. It was a petty move, sure, but after 3 years of being called a nobody, I figured a night in a holding cell would give her some time to think about this somebody she had just lost. My phone buzzed. A text from Jason. Jason, please, Mike. Let's talk. I'll pay back the expenses. Just don't ruin my career. I deleted the message without replying. Some things are non-negotiable. Embezzlement from my father's company is one of them. I walked into Maddie's diner. It was quiet, smelling of bacon and maple syrup. I sat at my usual corner booth, still wearing my faded flannel and the Target shoes. Hey, Mike. The usual? I looked up. It was Emily. She was a nursing student who worked part-time as a waitress. We had been talking for months, ever since I started coming here to escape the corporate stress. Yeah, Emily. The usual. And maybe a slice of that cherry pie, I said, smiling for the first time in days. Emily sat across from me for a second. Her shift was almost over. She looked at me closely. You look like you've had a long day. Everything okay at the firm? She thought I was just a mid-level architect. I had never told her the truth. But unlike Chloe, Emily never asked about my car. She never asked about my bank account. She once saw me struggling with a flat tire on that old Honda and spent an hour helping me fix it, laughing the whole time. Just a lot of corporate restructuring, I said. I actually lost something today. Or maybe I finally got rid of it. Emily reached across and patted my hand. Her skin was warm, real. Well, whatever it was, if it made you this tired, you're better off without it. You're a good guy, Mike. You deserve a life that doesn't wear you down. I looked at her, and for the first time in 3 years, I didn't feel like I was being tested. I just felt seen. The next morning, I was back in the CEO's chair. The scorched earth policy was in full effect. My assistant, Sarah, walked in. Mr. Daniels, there's a woman in the lobby. She doesn't have an appointment, and she looks like she's been through a war. She says she's Chloe Jenkins. Let her in, I said. Chloe walked in, and I almost didn't recognize her. She was wearing the same suit from the interview, but it was wrinkled and stained. Her hair was a mess, and her eyes were red from crying. "Mike," she whispered, standing by the door. "My parents won't take me in. They're ashamed. Brittany kicked me out because she doesn't want to be associated with a criminal. I spent the night in a cell because of that car." "You spent the night in a cell because you stole my car, Chloe," I corrected her. "Please," she sobbed, falling to her knees. "I'll do anything. I'll work in the mailroom. I'll clean the floors. Just don't leave me with nothing. Jason is gone. He's being prosecuted. I have nowhere to go." I stood up and walked around the desk. I looked down at her. "Remember what you said at the restaurant, Chloe? You said you didn't want to have to explain to your colleagues why your boyfriend was a nobody. Well, now you don't have to, because you don't have a boyfriend, and you don't have a career here." I pulled out a check. I had already written it. It was for $5,000. "This is the rent you owed me for the last 6 months, I said, dropping it on the floor in front of her. "Take it. Use it to find a room somewhere. But if you ever step foot in this building or near my home again, I'll make sure the charges for the car aren't dropped. Do you understand?" She grabbed the check like it was a gold bar. She didn't even say thank you. She just scrambled out of the office. By Wednesday, Vanguard Designs had officially acquired Apex Designs. I walked into their office with a team of lawyers. Jason Thorne was sitting at his desk, frantically typing on his laptop. He looked up and saw me. The color drained from his face. "Mr. Daniels, I can explain the expenses," he started. "Save it for the police, Jason," I said. "We've already handed over the forensic audit to the DA. The Porsche has been picked up. Your belongings are in a box at the security desk." I watched as security escorted him out. He didn't have his status anymore. He didn't have the lease, the fake Rolex, or the ego. He was just a guy in a cheap suit who had tried to play a game he didn't understand. As I walked out of the Apex office, I felt a sense of closure. The gold digger was gone. The fraud was finished. I took out my phone and called Maddie's Diner. "Hey, Emily," I said when she picked up. "I'm having a small celebration tonight. Nothing fancy, just a quiet dinner. Would you like to join me? I might even wear a tie." "A tie?" Emily laughed. "Does that mean you're finally getting that promotion you wanted?" "Something like that," I said, smiling at the city skyline. "I'm finally becoming the man I was meant to be." It was a rainy Friday evening when I finally decided the masquerade had to end. I didn't pull up to Maddie's Diner in the 2005 Honda. I chose my personal favorite, a custom, midnight black SUV that costs more than most people's houses. When Emily stepped out of the diner, she stopped dead in her tracks. She was wearing a simple, elegant blue dress. She looked at the car, then at me, and started laughing. "Mike, tell me you didn't spend your whole promotion check on a rental just to impress me." "It's not a rental, Emily," I said, opening the door for her. "Tonight, we're going to the top of the world." I took her to the Pinnacle. It's a rooftop restaurant I own, sitting 50 stories above the city lights. As the valet took the keys, Emily looked around at the marble pillars and the crystal chandeliers, her eyes wide with confusion. "Mike, we can't afford this," she whispered as we were led to the best table in the house. "A bottle of water here costs more than my shift tips." "Tonight," I said, taking her hand. "The house is on me." Literally. Halfway through dinner, I looked at Emily. She wasn't checking her phone. She wasn't looking at the price of the wine. She was just looking at me, smiling because she genuinely enjoyed my company. "Emily, I have a confession," I said. "I grew up in a world where everyone wanted something from me. My money, my status, my connections. I started living that simple life because I wanted to find one person who would look at me and not see a bank account." I reached into my pocket and pulled out the 4-carat diamond ring. The same one Chloe had missed out on because she couldn't see past my Target shoes. "I'm Mike Daniels. I'm the CEO of Vanguard Designs. And I'm the guy whose flat tire you helped fix in the pouring rain when I was driving a car that smelled like old gym socks." Emily didn't scream. She didn't faint. She just took a long breath and looked at the ring, then back at me. "I knew you were special, Mike," she said, her voice steady. "But CEO, that's going to make our trips to the diner a little awkward, isn't it?" I laughed. For the first time in 3 years, I wasn't being tested. I was just being loved. On the way home, I took a detour past the old diner. And that's when I saw her. Chloe was standing at the bus stop. She was wearing a grease-stained uniform from a local fast food joint. She looked exhausted, her hair frizzy from the rain, clutching a cheap plastic bag. She looked like a ghost of the woman who had stood in my boardroom demanding status. I didn't stop the car. I didn't honk. I just kept driving. Emily looked out the window and saw her too. "You okay, Mike?" "Yeah," I said, catching a glimpse of Chloe in the rearview mirror as she disappeared into the darkness. "I'm just realizing that some people spend their whole lives looking for a diamond, only to realize they threw it away because the box wasn't shiny enough." Chloe had used my $5,000 check to get a tiny studio apartment, but her reputation was shot. Every major firm in the city knew she was the girl who tried to scam a CEO. She was back at zero, living the boring life she hated so much. As for Jason, the fake architect with the leased Porsche, karma hit him even harder. Our legal team didn't show him any mercy. We sued him for every cent of the $150,000 he'd embezzled. His professional license was revoked, and he was blacklisted from every architectural board in the country. Last I heard, he moved back to his hometown in the Midwest, working in his dad's auto body shop. The Porsche was repossessed, his fake Rolex turned out to be a $20 knockoff, and his high-status life vanished like smoke in the wind. The game was over, and the house always wins. Today, Emily is a registered nurse. She still works long shifts, and she still refuses to let me buy her a Lamborghini. She says she likes her old Jeep just fine. I'm still the CEO of Vanguard, but my life isn't about the title anymore. It's about the person sitting across from me at the diner on Friday nights. Money can buy you a marble countertop, a fast car, and a fancy suit, but it can't buy you loyalty. And it sure as hell can't buy you the peace of mind that comes from knowing you've won. And that, folks, is the story of Mike, Chloe, and the ultimate reality check. Karma isn't a myth, it's just a patient observer. If you enjoyed this 5-part series and want to see more gold diggers getting exactly what they deserve, make sure to hit that like button. We post incredible stories of revenge and justice every single day here at ThreadVerse. So subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a reveal. Leave a comment below. Was Mike too harsh, or did Chloe get exactly what she deserved? I'll be down there replying to your thoughts. Until next time, stay loyal and stay sharp.